Moving right along in this spoiler series, next we take a look at the black cards in Rivals of Ixalan. Let's go! Hello everybody, welcome back to Commanding Magic Season 2, Episode 18, the Rivals of Ixalan spoiler series. In this segment of the series, we are going to be reviewing the black cards. It's Travis and Brandon.
Yep.
Should we just get right into it?
I think so.
Tetsamot, Primal Death.
Yes.
What do he do?
Primal Death. Oh, man. My favorite of the
He's good.
Elder
He looks
Dragons.
amazing.
I know, right? So, 4 black for a 6/6 Elder Dinosaur with Death Touch. You can pay black and reveal Tetsamot Primal Death from your hand. Put a prey counter on target creature. Activate this ability only during your turn. Okay, first of all, prey counters. Yes. I mean,
and you can just reveal them from your hand at the cost of 1 black mana.
Exactly.
You can do this turn 1.
Yep.
Like on your opponent's mana dork or whatever.
Yep. So that whole reason is why this is going into my Assassin's deck. Even though Mirror and Assassin.
Just what you needed.
But that is my excuse. Yes.
Just what you needed.
So his next part talks about when Tetsamot Primal Death enters the battlefield, destroy each creature your opponents control with a prey counter on it.
Jeez.
Yep.
With Death Touch. And he's a 6/6.
If you look in the artwork here, on the bottom left corner, that's a dude getting impaled by one of his spikes.
Yep. These Elder Dinosaurs are huge.
Yep.
So, jeez.
I love this guy.
I wish I could run this in Naya Dinosaurs, but I can't. So, whatever. Next up is Forerunner of the Coalition. This is 3 mana for a 2/2 human pirate. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a pirate card. Reveal it, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. So this is the pirate tutor. And then whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. Maybe not necessarily as good in like a non-pirate deck.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, since it's triggered, it's like triggered ability. Only targets pirates, or it's only triggered by pirates entering the battlefield. You probably wouldn't run this card in the human deck, or whatever.
Right.
So this card may be not as versatile as Forerunner of the Legion, but that's okay.
Yeah, because why, Travis? Why is it okay? You were saying something about this card earlier, and I wanted to make you repeat it.
Oh no!
Yep.
Say it ain't so.
Yep.
I don't know. Forerunner of the Coalition's looking pretty good. I think she's looking pretty good, I gotta say. Yeah. But at the same time, what I also said was that is this digital artwork?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, right? And if it's not, then it's like some crazy hand-drawn art here.
Right, which that's like some of the best artwork you've ever seen if it's not digital.
Right.
But
so it just reminds me of a lot of like older CGI from like PS1 era type stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, it looks good. Like, the artwork is still good.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'd be hard pressed to believe it's not digital.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. So it's pirate, right? It is a black pirate card. But I really like the vibrance of the sand and all the foliage around her, giving a lot of reds and yellows, and then the blues of the birds.
Right.
It looks very good. Very good artwork as a whole.
So
next up is a card that is awesome. And it's one of our black mythics for the set.
Yep, this card came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, literally nowhere. I think it was because they were doing the spoilers where you had the thing and you walked around enough. If enough people did it, it revealed cards again.
Oh, is that what this came from?
Yeah, that's where this was spoiled from. And it was the last one.
Dang.
So, 2 black for a 2/4 with flying. It's a vampire cleric. It's got a send. So, talking about it again, if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game.
Right.
Okay, so at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the city's blessing, so you for this card to really do anything, you have to have it.
Yeah, otherwise it's just a 2/4 with flying.
Right.
So
reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. Each X life, and you gain X life, where X is that card in CMC.
This
So
is,
unless you're top decking land, you're
but if you have the city's blessing,
Mhm.
this is like Dark Confidant, like, but with no drawback.
Yep.
Like, you're revealing the top, but it's your opponents that are losing the life instead of you.
Yep.
So, what an awesome card. And so, like I was saying before, what this set did was it not only added a lot of cards for the Vampire tribe, but also the Cleric tribe. And this is one of the cards that definitely goes in the Cleric deck.
Yeah.
Like, what a card this is.
Talk about other like crazy vampire cards, though. Why don't you tell us about Champion of Dusk?
Champion of Dusk, first and foremost, has some rad artwork.
Yes,
like,
it
look
does.
at that. Look at this guy. So 5 mana, 2 black and 3 for a 4/4 Vampire Knight. When Champion of Dusk enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control.
And then you just gain all that life back immediately.
Yeah, with other cards, because if you're playing vampires, you're probably so at this point. I think like you're still more than welcome to play the green red vampire deck. But I feel like at this point,
The green red vampire deck.
green red black red. Sorry, the green red vampire deck. Yeah, the black red vampire deck. You're more than welcome to do that. But at this point, I feel like white adds so much awesome support. Like, not only like strictly within the vampire tribe, but now that there are vampires in white, you're encouraged to branch out a little bit.
Yep.
It reminds me of Disciple of Bolas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when Disciple of Bolas enters the battlefield, sacrifice another creature, so you don't have the drawback of that, but it's contingent on something else other than something about a sacrificed creature. In this case, it is contingent on the amount of vampires you control, and costs 1 more mana. So,
I want to make another point about its artwork. Like, you remember talking about in Ixalan, the vampires, a lot of their helmets, you could tell
hats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the pointy hat on this one, and then you got the points on its halberd that it's got.
So pointy.
It's very pointy. It's very vampire.
Yeah.
Much
very
good.
Very vampire.
Did I do it right?
Much blood. Wow.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the second movie in a franchise. Dead Man's Chest, Brandon. Take us away.
Yep. So Dead Man's Chest. 1 black for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature and opponent controls.
And opponent controls.
And an opponent is loving some chest of gold right there. Anyway, when the enchanted creature dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. You may cast non-land cards from among them for as long as they remain exiled. Translation on. I'm reading from the actual translation.
Oh.
So I'm not reading from the card itself because that's smaller text. I read bigger text.
Sure.
Anyway, as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana or any mana of any type to cast those spells.
I'm definitely going to Photoshop your face onto this guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're going to be the star of this card.
Thank you. I'm going to be the new star of the Dead Man's Chest movie.
Dude, yeah, you're taking the place. You're the new Captain Jack Sparrow, pretty much.
Okay, I'll take it.
So, what does this card do? Like, is this card relevant at all? Because you could spend mana of any color.
Right, but you need to do it on a big dude to get your biggest payoff.
I'm just imagining like them doing this on like an Elder Dinosaur. So like the Elder Dinosaur dies and you get just a ton of value off it, I guess. But the implication, like if I could replace that guy with like a big dinosaur just standing over it, it'd be pretty funny.
Exactly.
So, Direfleet Prisoner.
Prisoner.
Jesus, I can't read today. It was at a glance. I was like, I saw the P and then I saw the Zoner. And I got, what's that? Isn't there like a psychological thing where you, if you rearrange all the letters, you could still read it? Yep. So for 2 mana for a 2/2 with Flash, which as we know,
and
is better.
Death Touch.
That's even better. That's like, what does this remind me of? Just without reading the rest of it, it's like Ambush Viper.
You know what it's missing? Lifelink and flying.
And it'll trample and,
I was talking about Vampire Nighthawk, like you were talking about earlier.
Okay, sure. So whenever Direfleet Poisoner enters the battlefield, target attacking pirate you control gets +1/+1 against Death Touch till end of turn. So this is like super combat trick.
Yep.
So it works in your favor because you can give an attacking creature death touch at an unfavorable block, but also it has death touch itself, so you can flash it in during your opponent's turn. Very versatile card. I dig it.
Yep.
Brandon's going to tell us everything he knows about Mastermind's acquisition.
Which is not a lot. It pisses me right the fuck off.
I know.
But the card itself, let's just get that out of the way.
Sure.
2 black for a sorcery. It's a modal card. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay.
So at its worst, it's a Diabolic Tutor.
Right. And then choose a card you own from outside the game, put that into your hand. So it's a Diabolic Wish is what we're going to go with here. Right?
Yeah, Burning Wish, right? That's the one that brings it in for the outside of the game.
Yeah. Well, all of the Wish cards do.
Yeah, so very interesting. And I'm not even talking about by what the card does.
Right.
I'm talking about the implication story-wise, because this is Bolas taking the Immortal Sun away from Ixalan, right?
That's what we're presuming. This is Story Spotlight 3 of 3. And honest to God, you can, aside from the fact that that is the Immortal Sun, and that is some kind of portal gateway thing, that's all we know.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming now that this is a much higher res image that is Vraska in there.
Has to be.
Because original speculation was that was Tezzeret.
Oh,
but,
okay. With the sword? I can see the sword, right?
Right.
You can see it. I don't
Yeah,
think
you can
Tezzeret
very
would have a
clearly
sword.
see it now.
Yeah.
But it was a long hair was confusing before.
Yeah. But it's funny. In a way, I feel like this is like almost the perfect way to start to wrap up the Ixalan story.
Mm-hmm.
Because now
everybody can leave.
Vraska and Jace and Huatli and Angrith
Yep.
can leave. But that also opens up even more story opportunities because now Huatli and Angrith can have their own stuff going on too.
Right.
Unless Huatli pulls like an honor thing and is like, I
Huatli.
have to protect the thing.
I thought I was going to be the one to do it this episode, but you're the one doing it.
Huatli?
Just saying Huatli funny.
Huatli.
I was doing it last time.
Yeah. So just the plot possibilities from the Immortal Sun being taken away from Ixalan are really awesome.
It got me thinking while I was at work, while we were talking about this. And I was thinking, because what the Immortal Sun is doing on Ixalan, it's preventing planeswalkers from leaving.
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting here to think, and I'm like, what does Bolas need with something that will prevent planeswalkers from leaving? Spoiler alert, the Immortal Sun works off of a character that we will see in this block's Spark. Okay, we'll get to that creature later.
Right.
But so that Spark is inside the Immortal Sun, which is causing what it does. It's how it gets its power.
What happens if Nicol Bolas gets another Spark?
I don't know, because that's an Old Walker Spark, and that's what Bolas is trying to get, is his Old Walker powers back.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Other than that, he might be using it as a trap to lure. He'll like set up this crazy scheme like he does. And he'll lure a bunch of planeswalkers to Dominaria or somewhere.
I hope that the ultimate resolution for what's happening here doesn't happen for a long time.
Yeah.
I hope that we're almost meant to forget about this.
Yeah.
Because like now that we've been talking about this, I've been thinking, like racking my brain, being like, has he taken other things away from other planes already?
I'm sure he has.
But do we know about it? That's what I'm saying.
No, exactly.
So I'm like, is there something that we've been meant to forget about until now, which maybe be like, oh, he has this and he has this. You know?
He's got his army, which we know about that.
The Bolasians.
Yeah. Which I really hope to see them again, because their mechanic was pretty neat.
Right.
But I just lure planeswalkers to a trap and on a plane where they can't leave and then kill them all and take their sparks and use all their sparks to get his power back.
That just seems... I don't like that. I think that's dumb. I hope it's not that. I hope that there's something a lot more intricate at work here.
Yeah.
Speaking of intricate at work here, Tomb Robber is 3 for a 1/1. Lara Croft has Menace and has tap 1, discard a card. Lara Croft explores.
Mm-hmm.
Explorers, I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've seen that this series.
Then this set, yep.
Yeah, so Explore, the text for Explore says, reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and then put the card back. Wait, put the card back or put it into your graveyard. So this is like Super Scry.
Yep. And,
so it's like you can either get the card in your hand or get a buff and then scry one, essentially.
So I think what made me the most excited about this set was the fact that in most old when we briefly did the 2-set block structure, they would, go from one set and then have all the mechanics in one set and then change 95% of the mechanics in the next set.
I did not like that.
And they brought them all back for this one.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
Because you introduce the mechanic in the first set, and then you really give it its potential in the second set.
Which is what they used to do kind of in the 3-block structure. They would do all the mechanics first, and then bring a couple of them into the second set, introduce a few more, and then introduce some new ones and bring some of the ones back.
Yeah.
But that still wasn't the best. But having it this is perfect.
Yep. I definitely agree. And we've been seeing like trickle down type stuff where we're seeing old mechanics brought back every now and then. And I think at this point, when we've had mechanics that have kind of gone away for a while, that it's really awesome to see them come back again, but alongside of new stuff as well.
But, going forward, after this set, this is our last 2-set, block. Everything else is going to be a 1-set contained set. Crazy. It's not blocks anymore. It's just sets. And every set's going to have its own mechanics, so we don't have to worry about having to continue mechanics on to the next set.
Oh, dude. If they bring back, Domain and Dominaria, they have to.
We'll see.
And it has to be a multicolor.
I could see with some of the multicolor cards that we have already, because we've gotten a lot from Ixalan. It's going to a multicolor plane. And
then we'll get Barry's Land at long last.
Yes.
In Dominaria. So,
with that out of the way.
Speaking of Barry's Land, it's Vona's Hunger. Which is what?
Vona's Hunger, 2 and a black for an instant with Ascend, and then each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you have the city's blessing, instead each opponent sacrifices half creatures he or she controls, rounded up.
This is another one of those instances when this is like meant to be like the you haven't even seen my final form of Ascend.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. But even then, because a lot of these sets are designed just meant to to maintain the balance and standard and things like that.
And draft and all that. It's not designed around the format that.
And in those formats, it's fine.
Right.
But in Commander, this is pretty crazy.
Is stupid.
For 3 mana.
Yep.
Like, if you have to do it on turn 3 without Ascend, fine. But if you don't, watch out.
Exactly. Like, that's a lot of creatures. Yeah. What's the earliest you could do this in black? 5?
Are you playing
maybe? Green? If you're playing green, you're playing this turn 3.
Right.
With Ascend.
Yeah.
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 Because the biggest thing with Ascend is you have to count your land. Yep. Because those are permanents.
Definitely. So Sadistic Sky Marchers, 3 for a 2/2 Vampire Soldier with some interesting artwork. I can't tell if this is a giant vampire flying over the mountains or if it's just like perspective. I'm pretty sure it's perspective. It has to be, right?
I don't think it's a giant vampire.
but that would be pretty cool.
Who knows?
So as an additional cost to cast Sadistic Sky Marcher, reveal a vampire card from your hand or pay 1, has flying and lifelink. It is not Vampire Nighthawk, exactly. But it reminds me of Kinsbale something. Or maybe it's not Kinsbale. It's some Kithkin that you have to like pay extra when it comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Kithkin. And I still think it's pretty cool, but it's not Vampire Nighthawk. But does it get run alongside Vampire Nighthawk?
No.
You don't think so? It's not that.
I don't think so.
It's not good enough. I'm still scrolling. Gold Medal Stalwart is the card that I'm thinking of. Being 1 for a 2/2, one of my favorite cards back in the day, because Kithkin is, spoiler alert, something I will talk about in a video of a different series. But that says, as an initial cost to pay it, you have to reveal a Kithkin or pay 3.
Right.
So we're we've seen some power level increase since then, because now we're seeing, well, I don't know, 1 for a 2/2 versus 3 for a 2/2. Maybe the 1 tax is fine if you can't reveal. But anyway,
I wouldn't play it.
what about Reaver Ambush?
Reaver Ambush, 2 and a black for an instant, exile target creature with power 3 or less. I'd play this in Tiny Leaders all day.
Oh yeah, for sure, because that's pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly. And you're hitting probably some real good targets.
Yeah.
So that's about all I'd play this in.
Oathsworn Vampire is an interesting card that is not rare. It's 2 for a 2/2, a Vampire Knight that comes into play tapped, but you can cast it from your graveyard if you gain life this turn.
Read that flavor text.
My conquistadors are never slain, merely laid to rest. Queen Meralda the Pious. Who's that?
I don't know.
Who's
somebody?
that?
Somebody from the Dusk Legion, from all the way over in what's its name, and that we won't see until we get a commander set that has like all these crazy people that we've never seen, because Commander does that. Best notice the fact that that flavor text in the artwork is the dude getting out of the coffin.
Somebody once told me
the
the world was going to make me enter the battlefield tapped. Yeah, this harkens back to Bloodghast and cards of the like. Gravecrawler.
Yeah,
like Gravecrawler as well, but with a little bit of a drawback at the cost of it being at uncommon.
Yeah.
Going on here, not a lot of cards that are...
Talk about Golden Demise real quick.
Golden Demise? Yeah, that was the next one that I was going to bring up. How about it, my dude?
1 black for a sorcery with Ascend. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If you have the City's Blessing, instead, only creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn.
So what's that card? It's the card that everything gets -2/-2. What is that card?
Infest?
That's the one. Yeah. Not Blowfly Infestation. Infest. Here we go. Yeah. So this is... So it's funny because part of me wants to say, oh, this is power creep on Infest, but it's really not.
No.
Because it has a drawback, essentially.
With needing Ascend.
So, okay, well, let's think about this. Let's think about this carefully.
But if you needed to run 8 copies of Infest for whatever reason, here you go.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, this actually might just be power creep on Infest because this is Infest until you're Ascended.
Right.
So every copy of Infest needs to be replaced with Golden Demise because it's not like
we're doing that a lot this day.
It's not even, but there's actually some reverse power creep that we'll get into later. But yeah.
I really wanted to talk about here was the artwork here, which is fantastic.
So,
but that is 100% Vraska.
She's turning everyone into gold.
Gold instead of stone.
Yeah.
Because she is using the power of the Immortal Sun.
Oh, that's really awesome. Wow.
So you can see that the Immortal Sun is granting some crazy powers.
Yeah.
Because Gorgons don't turn people into gold.
We need to get Owen Wilson on our podcast so he can just say, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. We have some other things. Oh, we had to talk about Ravenous Chupacabra. We can't not. At 4 mana for a 2/2, we have a Beast Horror. This is when Ravenous Chupacabra enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. It does not discriminate. It destroys anything. Does not discriminate by
you can kill your opponent's Elder Dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This card is great. This card is awesome. This card reminds me a lot of Shriekmaw. I spelled that totally wrong. Shriekmaw. No, Shriekmaw. Yeah.
But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you can go to the next card called Impale. 2 black for a sorcery. Yeah, it would destroy a creature.
But what about Murder?
Well, yeah, but this is reverse power creep here we're talking
exactly.
about.
So not only does this 4 mana to destroy target creature, but it's a sorcery.
Exactly.
Whereas,
Murder's been printed recently.
So I get it. Like, at some point, they have to do something. Like, it can't just be reprints on reprints on reprints.
Right.
And Impale, it's flavorful. So, You know what? Fine. I'll take it. We just have to accept some things for how they are. Grasping
Tell us
Skin.
about Dark Inquiry.
Dark Inquiry. Let's see. I need to read it. 3 mana for a sorcery that says target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card. That player discards that card. Isn't that just like duress? But
Yeah, exactly. But
Like-
we've had this conversation about this kind of card every single set.
but like god awful. Like
Yes.
good lord, lordy, look who's costing 3 mana.
So I do want you to read the flavor text on the next card.
Your mind is no longer yours to waste.
No, not that one.
Oh, on the rest?
Canal Monitor.
Canal Monitor. It's a lizard. Why couldn't this be a Viashino, Brandon? It's a lizard.
Know. Well,
So 5 mana for a 5/3 lizard. We're not seeing anything really here, but
nope.
if for those of you who don't know, the first goblin tried to swim the canal, the second built a raft, the last and craftiest goblin launched herself from a fire cannon and soared over the canal, trailing smoke. All were eaten, but only one was cooked. That's the kind of flavor text that I really like.
Exactly.
Because that reminds me of like old Magic.
yeah.
Like this reminds me of Raging Goblin. He raged at the world, at his family, at his life, but mostly he just raged. I love that. That brings back like the fantasy fun part of the game, you know? And the only unfortunate part about this is that this thing that kind of kept that old-timey Magic feeling had to be in a common that's just garbage.
Right.
Like, arguably, Raging Goblin today isn't that great, but surely at some point, Raging Goblin had to be, like, fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because now we have, like... Because now we have, like... Goblin Guide. Which arguably has a drawback, and that art is terrible. Ew. Give me the original art.
Was that the new artwork?
Yeah, it's so bad. Anyway. As we continue on, actually an interesting card, Recover, which I do believe is a reprint that's been reprinted many times, right? Return target creature card from your grip to your hand, draw a card. Yeah, it was originally in, I don't know, I think it came out in like Invasion maybe. It was like a necromancer guy and he was holding this thing and there's like a thing, I don't know. But we are getting...
Can I talk about Gruesome Fate real quick?
You are more than welcome.
Because I have not read this card yet.
Go for it.
So, 2 and a black for a sorcery. Each opponent loses 1 life for each creature you control.
So is this going to Gave?
Yes.
Is it good enough?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
This is the one. This is a win condition.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and it's a win condition that comes out of nowhere.
Definitely. Out of nowhere.
Because you can just be sitting there durdling and, play this.
And win.
As long as your opponents don't have infinite life, but then you just go and make infinite tokens.
Yep.
So,
Dinosaur Hunter kills a dinosaur.
Yeah.
When he deals damage to a dinosaur, destroys that dinosaur. For some reason, this reminds me of Jumanji. Like, I don't know.
Oh, a little bit.
Just the idea of like the grizzled like warrior in the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Dusk Legion Zealot. I love this card. It reminds me of Phyrexian Reaper?
No,
that's your guitar card.
Yeah. My guitar card.
Phyrexian Rager. Right? Come on. Yep, that's the one. So Dusk Legion Zealot, 2 for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Phyrexian Rager is a 2/2 for 3, but does the same thing.
Yeah.
I would much rather run Dusk Legion Zealot than Phyrexian Rager, or I would run both. I don't know. Like Tiny Leaders in black? I don't know. I like drawing cards. Losing 1 life ain't that bad.
You can make up from it.
Moment of Craving, it's fine. But that's about it.
All right.
That's black. There's some fun stuff in here. Some fun lore stuff. I'm looking at you, Masterminds Acquisition.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us some story. We need another lore episode. It's imminent. It's coming at some point.
We'll do one after we have the full story.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's not going to last that long.
Yeah. We've gotten quite a ways into the story anyway. Because some of the cards even in this set reference Jace falling down the waterfall or whatever.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So that's going to do it for Commanding Magic Season 2, Episode 18, the black portion of the Rivals of Ixalan spoilers. Stay tuned for Rivals of Ixalan spoilers Red.